This is Creative Visions TV, and I'm your host, Karen Dahlman. Today I have a topic that it's not easy to talk about, but it must be talked about. It's the topic of when our pets transition. And it's no different than when our other loved ones transition, because our pets are often the most unconditional loving being in our life. They might have been our fur babies, our fur best friends. And so this topic is dear to my heart, as it is to many of you out there, because you also have experienced a very close relationship with the beloved pet. So 3 weeks to the day, my lovely, beautiful black cat Panzer transitioned. And it's tough. It's still tough. I waited a couple weeks just to let it set in, and I've been emotional about it. That's normal. It's important that you grieve during this time because the loss is real. It's a real loss. But what I want to talk to you about today is what happens to the animals when they transition, where they go, what's next for them, and how you too can move forward and find happiness once again. So let me start with the story a little bit more about Panzer. I'm sitting poolside today because in honor of him, he loved to come sit outside in the patio and watch the birds and sit with me in the garden. And he always wore his cool sunglasses. He was just a great cat. But I had the privilege and honor of talking to him before he transitioned and then after he transitioned. Now, I have been doing animal communication since the mid-90s when one of my cats named Hermes taught me how to do this with the Ouija board. So I have a video, links are below, that you can watch. It talks about learning to communicate with your animals with the board and also off the board. I communicate with animals now both ways, on and off the board. When I spoke to the animals on the board, I got really direct, deliberate messages, and I've been using that method ever since. In addition to communicating to them just telepathically and through images and feelings and sensations that they give out for us to receive. So there's some key points that I want you to know about your animal when they transition. And comes from many years, again since the mid-90s, of what they told me about their experience, where they go, and what happens. And once again, as one of my cats transitioned, he gave a very similar story. But it's unique to each animal because each animal has a different purpose. One thing I want you to understand when your pet does transition is that your pet was there to serve a purpose in your life. They love humanity. They are tightly linked and bound to humanity to help us. They are the most unconditional beings I think you'll ever find. And this could even be a wild animal that pops into your life for a short period of time, but maybe you had to rescue it, it fell out of its nest, or maybe it had a broken wing, or it lost its family, and somehow you ended up stepping in. Well, we think we are the ones that are rescuing these animals, and the truth is they enter our lives at the right time to rescue us. That's right, they come here and live here and serve humanity by rescuing us. Animals have a real close connection to us. So let me tell you about my recent interactions and communications with Panzer. He spoke to me first when he was going through some pain. His condition came on all of a sudden. It was in a week and a half that he just took a plummet. And it wasn't really until the last 24 hours when I knew it was time. He thanked me for helping him, for me to make that choice when it was time, for me to take his pain away. And that's one of the messages that came through. Let me read this to you. He says, "How can I tell you how different it is here? I see the beginning of all things and the continuation of all things, even those that are yet to have a beginning. It is a stopover for me, but it needs not that I patrol, so I may continue to patrol for now that to which I am accustomed." Now your pets have a purpose in your life. His purpose I have 3 cats, but his purpose as the alpha cat was to patrol the house, patrol wherever we were, to patrol outside. That was his purpose, and he was thankful for that purpose. And so since where he is now, he says there's a lot of animals there. He has everything he needs, but he doesn't need to patrol. They don't need him patrolling there. So he says, I'm going to be there where I'm accustomed to patrolling, which means with me. So when your animals transition, they don't leave you right away. Often they are around you for some time. And it really depends on your needs. And get this, not only are they with you for some time, sometimes the same animals will come back and reincarnate because they realize they have unfinished business to help you with. Or one of your transition pets will bring you a brand new animal for you to rescue or adopt. It's like they have this system in place where they help each other, and they know that whatever you're working on in your life, wherever you need to open your heart more and be more unconditional like the animals, they're going to bring you the right animal, new animal into your life that will help you do that. Now, people that don't have pets, don't fret. People come into your life to do the same thing. What I'm talking about, the animals, you can parallel that with humanity. People come into our lives for the same reason, because we need something, and we come into people's lives too. So when you think you're rescuing a pet, and that is a beautiful thing to do, please go out there and go to the animal shelters and get those animals and help them out if you want a new pet. And I know you'll feel great for doing it because you feel like you're rescuing them, and you are. You're probably taking them out of a bad situation. But they really feel like they rescue us. So he went and told me some personal things, but mostly about that he was going to be where he is for a short time. He's hanging out with a bunch of different animals. He has everything he needs. He's enjoying it. And he says, for now, this is the place I'm to be, and you took my pain away so I could go there. Here's the kicker. You helped me when I needed it most. Until then, it was me helping you. The animals, again, are in our life to help us. Even though we're rescuing them and helping them and feeding them, they are really here to open our hearts. Again, their ability of unconditional love is off the charts when you compare it to humanity. He also talked about the other animals, the cats that are left in the house, and when animals transition, they have a relationship, so they also come back and visit them. So pay attention to your animals. Those animals have an ability to sense and be aware more primally than we are, and they have that extra sensory perception and ability also with their eyes and their ears and their smelling to hear and see and smell and feel at a whole different level than we can. So watch your other pets who may also be in the house, or people that are more in tune to the animals, such as children, babies, maybe even yourself. Pay attention to what happens, because your beloved pet that just transitioned is still around, being with you and sharing his love or her love. And then he went on to tell me, as I mentioned earlier, these pets will bring new pets to you if you need pets, or people, or whatever it is. There's a process here that happens, and it's based on the love of our hearts. I asked him if he saw Hermes there, and he goes, oh, do you mean a big orange cat? Hermes was a big, fat orange cat. And he says, of course. He goes, I know them. They are the ones, well, Hermes had a sidekick named Bill William, and it was Hermes. He goes, of course I know them. They are the reasons. They're the reason why I found you. They brought me to you. So those 2 other cats I had, who died like 11, last one died 11 years ago, brought these new cats to me, which is Jack and Panzer. And then he also went on to say, other animals will find you who need to find you. They may not be brought to you by another animal. They may just find you on their own accord. So I asked about my white cat bear, and they said, or he said, he found you on his own, but for the right reasons. And the reasons are, again, always to help us open our heart, to heal, to be more loving, more gracious, to be playful, to be joyful in our lives. I mean, a lot of times we just don't have enough joy or enough playfulness, or the energy to do things. And so these animals come to us that help us be vibrant and help us to love back. And like I said, often in people's lives, the animals are who you trust the most because they're so loving. So he talked a little bit more about his purpose, and that he says, I don't have a purpose anymore. That's why I would still patrol where you are. But he says, I have everything here I need except that new purpose. And I know in time that will come. So that means his purpose could be moving on into another life form. It could be sending something else to me. It could be being reincarnated, work with somebody else. But they love humanity. Again, I want to stress that there. And the other kicker of this whole story, and I want you to think about this too, is never feel guilty if you had to euthanize your pet. Never feel guilty that you didn't do enough. Because ultimately, if you did everything you did from the love out of your heart, you can't go wrong. That was a direct message from the guides. Because as I was taking Panzer into the vet 3 weeks ago, he said to me after he transitioned, he says, I have not left, though I am here, meaning he's in his new space, his new place, but he hasn't really left. It's like his feet are in both worlds. And often when people or animals transition, that's what happens. They're in both worlds. They're with us, still protecting and watching over us and loving us, and then they're also yet moving forward and transitioning and going into their light bodies. They do both. But another kicker that got me was when I had to take him to the vet those 3 weeks ago today. I didn't put him in a cage. Typically, if he went in the car, he had to go in a cage, rightfully so. He said to me, whoa, what fun it was to drive and not be in a cage. Now here I am, sick to my stomach, sad, and this cat is having the time of his life. He was perking up and looking out, and he had no energy, but somehow that lifted him, and he just looked out the window and could see birds and cars and things go by that he never really got to experience before in the car. So it's amazing what they can teach us about life and about death. And then of course the thing you want to know, we all ask, did I do the right thing? Did you feel any pain? Was it horrible? Was I a good mother? Was I a good father? Did I take care of you well? And this is what he said. He said, I watched the pain end, and it ended well before the end as you saw it. Again, I got to repeat what he said. He said, you helped me most when I needed it. Until then, it was me helping you. So know that your pets hold and harbor no pain, no anguish, aren't mad at you, aren't upset. They give their life to you to take care of them in that final moments when they need you the most to make those decisions that they can't communicate and tell us. And so be gentle on yourself when your pet is transitioning, and on yourself when he has or she has transitioned. And be very loving to the other members of that pet's family, because they too are also grieving. And know that they know. They graciously know and lovingly know that you did the best you can do, because after all, it came from that place of love within your heart. And that is what they came here to teach humanity. Also, be aware that your pet will try to reach out to you. And the easiest way and the most successful way for them to do that is through your dreams. So it's been just 3 weeks for me, but within about a week and a half, I had my first dream where Panzer was in the dream. And in a dream that seemed strange to me, because I thought, didn't he just die? Didn't he transition into his light body? What's he doing here? I wasn't lucid in the dream, but yet he appeared, and he appeared as I remember him, just a beautiful cat, well and not sick, as he was at the very end. And then he appeared to me just a few nights ago. And let me preface this story. So I was thinking about Panzer and thinking, gosh, I would just love to see you and hold you just one more time. I know we all go through it. And I was thinking that just one more time. It was that night that he came to me in a dream. And in the dream when he came to me, I saw this black cat. He turned around and I knew it was Panzer, recognized his eyes, and he looked so healthy. And he multiplied himself into about 4 black cats. It was like a carbon copy of Panzer 4 times. And 2 of the cats jumped right into my lap. And I felt such joy, such love. I felt that energy of how Panzer used to feel, playful, loving, fun. And interesting enough, I knew both those cats were just really one cat, but I became lucid in that dream. And when I became lucid, I said, oh my gosh, thank you, thank you. Thank you for coming. I just wanted to touch you and hold you one more time. And I said, please don't say goodbye yet. I'm not quite ready. But his energy was just vibrant. And I woke up out of that dream while I was lucid, and I woke up and said, oh my gosh, that dream made me feel such weight lifted and joy. I mean, it's hard with the transition, but it helps when you can have those contacts. And so I ask you, just especially around the time when you have a transitioning pet or a pet that has transitioned, to pay attention to your dreams. They may show up, and quite often they do, because they are, again, within the 2 worlds, and they want to still stay connected to us. And one of the last things he told me was that he was happy, that to be happy for him and for myself. I mean, they're always thinking about you, their care provider, their caregiver, their special human parent. They're always thinking about you. It's a love relationship. It's a love story that we have with our pets. So something else you might want to think about doing, and that would be finding a way to honor your pet in your own unique way. One of my cats, his name was Bill William, but I called him Tiger Lily. I mean, come on, go figure. We all have these pet names for our pets. And when he passed, I planted lilies, beautiful lilies that are annuals. And every year when they bloom, I think of him, and he comes back every year. So think of something like that for you. In honor of Panzer right now, I'm sitting poolside because it was one of his favorite places to lay by and sit at, and he was adorable in his sunglasses. So I'm honoring him right now in this video. So do things like that where you can honor your pet, where you feel connected to their energy, and things that will remind you of them, because truly, they never leave us. There's no such thing as dead. That's the word we use. This is with humans too. What happens is we just transition back to our original spiritual form, and then we transition again, and we transition again. It's a game of evolution. But once there's love, once you have that love, that deep love, it will always remain. Love never goes away. Love is with you forever once you make that bond. So, thank you for joining me here today. Thank you for being a part of this channel, of this group. Leave your comments below. And many blessings to you and your pets. This was Creative Visions TV. I'm Karen Dahlman. Now get out there and go enjoy your pets. Bye-bye.